Aloha kako and welcome to Kani Kūola Music Festival panel on music and wellness. And today we're particularly interested in the connection of lullabies and this bonding between parent and infant. So we have as guests, I'll introduce myself first, and then maybe we can pass it around so our guests can see who our panelists are. My name is Jon Signor. I am a music instructor at Leeward Community College. And I directed the Lullaby Project for the first time in Hawaii in 2016. We did it again in 2017 in partnership with West Oʻahu. And in these years, we did partner with Catholic Charities Mary Jane Home, Family Hui Hawaii, and Alulike Incorporated. This year, we are also partnering with Adult Friends for Youth. And I'll pass it to Jon Magnussen.
Thank you, Jon Signor. I am honored to be here with our colleagues. I am the head of music at University of Hawaiʻi, West Oʻahu. And it was a great delight when Jon Signor invited us to be a part of the project in 2017. And so now coming back to the project again and having it as part of this larger festival really makes me think we should be doing this every year. So I think I'll leave it there. I'll pass it to my colleague, Lisa Tamashiro.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Lisa Tamashiro. Thank you to both Jons. Adult Friends for Youth was so honored when we were invited to be a part of this Lullaby project. And we'll share more about our organization a little later. But again, thank you folks for having Adult Friends for Youth be part of this amazing project and a much bigger festival. I will pass it on to Honybal.
Hello, I am one of the musicians, classical guitarist, also playing slack key, also a composer on the guitar. I was a facilitator for, I think it was 2016 and 17 Lullaby projects, and also for this year's 2022 Lullaby project. I was also a facilitator working with Starr Kalāhiki, and I'll pass it to Starr.
Yes, aloha, I'm Starr Kalāhiki, and a musician and a student of Jon Signor's and a collaborator with Honybal and Rob and Analiese. And I have been engaged with the Lullaby Project for as many years as Honybal said. And it is always just a magical, you never know what to expect ride. And I'm so grateful to have an experience like this. Throwing it to Analiese.
Okay, hi, I'm Analiese. I was a facilitator, and also I kind of acted as I'm a mom, but I was a mom who wrote a song as well. So I was like dual in 2016. And it was really special to be able to be like both and to kind of have the perspective of being a mom, but also the perspective of being a facilitator. To write a song for your child is like, it's like Graham's still, he's older. My son is 6 now. When I wrote it, he was only about 8 months old, and he still sings it, and like, it's still special to him. So like, yeah, it's special to me that we can share that, like that bond. So yeah. And then I did it again in 2017 for another mom. And that was a really fun experience. It's always really different, and it's always really great. So I'm excited for this next one. And also I was working with Starr and Honybal and Rob and everybody. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna pass it to, let's see, Reina.
Reina. I'm with Catholic Charities Mary Jane Home. We were so excited and honored to be part of this project this year. It was such a blessing. So we just want to say thank you. And as Lisa mentioned, we'll share a little bit more about our programs later on in the panel. So pass it on to Rob.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rob. So this year I got to be a facilitator, and I'm one of the musicians. And yeah, really cool experience to kind of see the different stories of each mom. And in the past years, I was just, just one of the musicians, but yeah, really fun to kind of, hear the final products and what everything comes down to. So yeah, excited to do it all again. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for introducing yourselves. And just by way of a brief introduction to people who may not know what the Lullaby Project is. The Lullaby Project was started in 2011 in New York City, and musicians from Carnegie Hall partnered with Jacobi Hospital in the Bronx, and some musicians worked with young moms who were not musicians. And the idea was to partner a musician with a mom and help that mom to create their own unique original lullaby as a way of preparing to give birth. These were young women, as a way of creating a bond before the baby was born, as a way of bringing a lot of love into what was about to take place. And since 2011, the program began to grow and it started to spread through various cities. In 2016, we did it in Hawaii for the first time. And at that time, there were about 17 organizations nationwide. Lullaby Project is now international, so it continues to grow. And we work with moms, we work with the dads, we work with couples, we've had a grandparent, we've had a reverse lullaby where a child wrote a lullaby to their parent. So, and really exploring what is a lullaby. And I think if we were to look it up in the dictionary or do a search for it, there's a tendency to think this is a soothing song that helps babies fall asleep. It might be one way we think of lullabies, but in our Lullaby Project, because the idea is that we're asking the parent to come up with the song, we try to partner musicians with parents that we think are going to work. So some parents are like reggae. Some parents are rockers. Some parents are prefer Hawaiian music. Some parents, there's all this range of taste, musical taste. And so our lullabies have this, a lot of variety. And so what we might typically think of a lullaby is very soothing and rocking to sleep. Many times that's the case, but not always. So that's something that's really important to this project, is that we are really wanting the parent to dictate to the musician, how is this going to end up sounding? And our roles as music facilitators, so Analiese or Honybal or Starr or Rob or Jon or myself, is to really try to help the parent create their original piece of music. Before we get into the music part of it, I'd really like to ask Lisa and Reina to talk about their organizations. So Lisa represents, we partnered with Adult Friends for Youth. And I'm wondering, Lisa, if you could talk about your program and the clientele that Adult Friends for Youth serve, to give us some idea of the work that you do.
Sure, thank you. So Adult Friends for Youth is a nonprofit organization. We have, this is our 36th year, and we work with high-risk youth. Our mission is to redirect them from violence and crime to, positive, constructive behavior and being able to be part of the mainstream society through academic achievement. Mostly the youth that we engage with are already involved in some kind of violence or criminal activity. We get referrals from school, HPD, legislators, but our unique part of it is that we work in group settings. So we understand that youth, right, they kind of gravitate to peers. Unfortunately, not their parents as parents would want. And so we pick up the natural group as a whole, and we work with the entire group so that we can move the whole group into a more positive direction to create safer schools and communities for all of us.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you. And for the work that you do, it's so valuable. And Reina, I'll ask the same question of you. If you could talk a little bit about Catholic Charities Mary Jane Home, that organization, and the population you serve.
The Catholic Charities is a nonprofit organization, and Mary Jane is just one of the many programs under Catholic Charities. So our program specifically is a residential program for pregnant women who are in need of housing. So many of our women are currently homeless, experiencing an unplanned pregnancy, or living in really unsafe situations. So either with abusive parents, abusive partners, in households with a lot of drug abuse, and they're just seeking safety and security. Our program does classes during the week. So we support with infant care classes, how to labor and deliver their babies, because a lot of times we have first-time mommies. So we support them on their journey of pregnancy and postpartum. I'm actually the therapist. Our program director wasn't able to make it tonight. So I'm the therapist. I work with these women as they experience just the huge transition of moving into a group home and then also experiencing a pregnancy on their own. We do have some women who stay with their partners when they're in the program, although they can't live in the home with them. So one of the mommies who did the Lullaby Project this year, actually her partner ended up adding to the lullaby. So that was a really cool experience that he got to be a part of it too, even though it was offered to the Mary Jane client specifically, that her partner was able to be a part of it as well. So yeah, the Mary Jane Home, our goal is to help these women establish a sense of empowerment, security. We try to get them back on their feet. We assist them in long-term housing, job security, and really helping them with bonding and attachment with their babies. That's definitely our number one goal. So this was a perfect opportunity to be able to do that.
Thank you so much, Reina, and also for the work that Mary Jane Home does. This has been our third year. This is our third year doing the Lullaby Project in Hawaii, period. But it's also our third collaboration or connection with Mary Jane Home. So we're truly grateful to you too. And for Lisa, this was our first time working with Adult Friends for Youth. And it's such an honor to have these connections in the community. And that's something that's also very, I think, a significant part of the Lullaby Project. So I'm thinking maybe just I'll explain what the process is, and then I'll open it up to maybe some of the musicians who might want to talk about your experiences working with moms or dads or couples. Sometimes that happens too. So basically what we try to organize, and this year was really a bit of a different challenge because we're doing this for the first time in a pandemic. So in 2016 and 2017, everyone gathered together in the same space. We held workshops, we warmed up vocally, we did all kinds of exercises, get to know each other games. And then we did a breakout where we partnered a mom or a dad or a couple with a musician. And everybody just split up for a few hours. And at the end of a few hours, we come back and we share what was done in those few hours. And the parents were given tips on because for the most part, these parents are not musicians, they're not songwriters, they're not composers, but they're tasked with writing text, writing song lyrics. So there's activities that help them to do that. And in some cases, maybe writing a letter to your child when they're grown up, to imagine what they envision for their child. Maybe where did the name come from? What is the history of naming their child? All sorts of things like this that might help prompt a non-songwriter to start the process. So that's basically, and then oftentimes a musician and a parent will continue the relationship for several weeks to really kind of, it's really hard to write a song in a couple of hours, but this process of working with the parent over a few weeks kind of solidifies where we're at. Maybe they want to change some lyrics, maybe they want to change the melody, maybe they want to add a bridge, etc. So that's in a nutshell what happens. And this year we were doing a lot of that over Zoom, and that can present a few challenges, but it also allowed us to actually do the program. So, and to come up with these lullabies. So with that little information, I want to turn it over to some of the facilitators. And I think the first facilitator, Analiese, I'd like to go to you because you did mention that in 2016, we approached you as a mom. I think Graham was, what did you say, 8 months? A few,
yeah,
he was a few months.
Yeah, he was under a year old, 6 months maybe.
Maybe. And so at the same time, I also asked you to be a facilitator. Mm-hmm. And so maybe you can speak to it from the perspective of being a mom, okay, who was then tasked with composing a lullaby for your son, Graham.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Jon, just for those of you who don't know, Jon and I was a student of Jon's first in 2011. So he's known me since then, and he saw me get married and have a kid. And so he knew, you know, I had a baby, and he was like, hey, come do this. It's really special. Like, you won't regret it. And I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough. But I started out with some chords on my guitar, and I was like, I think this could be something, you know? So I just started kind of messing around with like, thinking of Graham and like what I would tell him, like if he could understand what I was saying, because at the time he couldn't even talk, you know, but he could understand my emotion and my face and my tone of voice. So it just started out like what I would tell him if he could understand. And so it was very easy to write. Actually, it was easy for me to come up with the words really, really quickly. It didn't take very long, but that's because I was writing it for him, and I know him better than any other kid. But so I come in and I present the song. Of course, I start bawling, crying, like I can't even finish. Like Starr remembers. I think you guys were all there: Honybal, Starr, and Rob, and Jon was there, and all the moms lost it too. They were all like, oh, we were just like, oh God. But you know, it really broke the ice, I feel like, because then it allowed the moms to kind of like, in my perspective anyway, I'm not saying like, oh, it did so good because of me, but like it allowed the moms to feel something. And because a lot of the time, the moms that were coming in from Mary Jane Home, we didn't do the youth one that year, right? We didn't. Okay. So 2016, the moms that were coming in, a lot of them were really intimidated. And they were like, some of them were just pregnant and young, and they were like, some of them didn't even want to be there because that was just, you could just feel that they just didn't want to be there. So them being able to hear a song that was pretty much complete, I think it like kind of melted their hearts a little bit. And then they wanted to, but I had to be the first, like the guinea pig. But then I also got paired with a mom during that session as well. And she didn't want to participate, but I don't know if we ever finished her song actually, but that's okay. But yeah, I got to, we did.
Yeah.
I did. I don't remember, but yeah, so I it was really special. It was just really special. Carnegie Hall had me come up to New York and sing that song that same year with a band, and they made it all pretty and stuff, and of course I cried like a baby. But it's something that I'll never forget, and I still talk about it like to like people. I'm like, I went to Carnegie Hall, I wrote this really special song, and it's all because of this project. And I just feel like it's a really, really special thing for a mom to be able to do that for their kid. And that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Analiese. I'll add that Graham is now 6 years old.
Yeah, yes.
And he's an amazing drummer. Graham is a drummer at 6 years old.
Yes.
And so you nurtured that musical sensibility in your son is very clear, and he's very talented and loves music, obviously. And your song was You're Mine. I remember that song from 2016. What a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Analiese. And panelists, if any of you want to just jump in, please do and interrupt me.
Oh yeah, and Honybal played on it. He played beautifully on it, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah, Honybal played. He played the little like classical guitar on it, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rob, you didn't play, huh?
No, I didn't get a chance to.
That's okay.
And the mom you were talking about, Analiese, you and I collaborated with this.
That's right.
Right. So she did finish her song. Yeah.
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 I feel like, and then the second time around, I didn't write anything for Graham that time, but I wrote for another mom who was, I think, from Mary Jane Home with Van John. Do you remember?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that really, it was like a Tahitian song. It was so cool. And she was so like, she felt like, she was like pregnant when we saw her, but when we got to perform it live, she had given birth. And she was like, this is so special. Like, it's a really special program for sure. You can't really explain it. It's just.
Yeah, because you've been on it from both sides.
Yeah.
So you're unique on this panel is that you participated as a participant and as a facilitator. So
I think to see it brought to life, like your feelings for your kid, like the feelings you have for your kid, and someone else like takes what you said and puts it into a song, and then it's for you and your kid, like it just feels so special. Anyway, I'll stop talking now.
Something that you said that was so great is that you and Graham still share that song, 6 years later. And the idea behind Lullaby Project is also not that one song, but that singing the importance of vibration and singing to a child, because of course to an infant, the most beautiful sound in the world is the sound of their parent's voice.
Yeah.
And that there is a difference between singing and speaking, and that the youngest among us understand that intention of vibration. So I love that you and Graham are still singing that.
Yeah,
that song.
It's very special for sure.
Now, Honybal and Starr, you partner together a lot. And so I was wondering if I could ask the two of you to talk about what it is like to team up as facilitators and you work really well together. And this is the third year the two of you have done that.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of what Annalise said about using the parents' words in songs is pretty much our approach me and Starr used for all our parents that we've worked with. I remember the first one we worked on in 2016. It was called He Knew Who I Was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And we also had the same approach of it was really tricky trying to write a song for someone else with their story, and we use the same approach of using chords first and kind of seeing where it would lead. And our process was we would interview the parents, just trying to get to know them and know their story and use their words, use their story in the lyrics that we put together in the songs that we created. Yeah, you want to expand on that?
Yeah, just recently with Precious, it was funny because when Jon mentions letters, what she realized she had was a whole bunch of captions to posts, captions to pictures that she would post, and each caption was a little letter to her child. And that pretty much, those directly were lyrics. They were so poetic in and of itself. So it literally, so Honybal creates this beautiful music. And then I literally just kind of fit her captions rhythmically into the music that Honybal created. But I really didn't mess with the words at all. That came out pretty, that's how that happened. And she wanted rhythm. She wanted she wanted something the girls could dance to.
She wanted TikTok, but
she wanted TikTok. Yeah, I was trying to be so yeah, that was fun. That was fun. And so there were two different situations in this year, and one we were present for and one we were virtually for, which is when I worked with Rob, and he did some really beautiful work there. You want to share, Rob?
Yeah, sure. So Starr was basically doing all the talking for me, which is awesome because I was just trying to scribble notes in the background. But yeah, we had Karki as a mom, and really she just like laid it out for us. She gave her whole story and was super open, and it was beautiful, and it was really powerful because I'm getting, she's lived her life, and she's done her thing, and she's doing her thing. And to me, it was just really, it was almost overwhelming and really powerful just to hear what she had gone through. And but she was really open and super like she was always just singing to her kid while we were like just asking her questions, and she was just really having fun and super positive and really nice person. And
kind of couldn't stop singing to her child. We kind of tried to listen to the melodies that she kept humming through and tried to incorporate that. It was just like she's talking and then she's laughing and then she can't help but hum something. It was really sweet.
Her go-to was the Barney theme song, I Love You.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
It was really cute.
Yeah. And so kind of with Annalise and Honybal and Starr, and how we just jotted down notes like what do you want to say to your child, or what do you want to have them hear in the future. And she was just like, oh, I'm praying that God will bring us together, and I'm hoping like one day she was basically feeding us lyrics, and she didn't even know. And that's the cool thing about it, is because you can say these words and they won't really mean anything, but when you add like a melody to it, or it just becomes this whole nother type of energy, and it's really it's really cool how it all comes together. And yeah, I only started off with just a chorus, and Starr was like, no, that's good, you got plenty, and I'm like, I need more. And but I worked on it and I worked on it, and I did my best to kind of give the song she wanted, you know. And it was also like, it was pretty tricky at first, because originally she liked fast music, and she wanted to dance, and she was like upbeat, and I was like, oh boy, I don't play upbeat stuff. It's not me. But I asked her, what kind of style do you want? And she's like, oh, I want like a heartfelt, like a love song. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. Like the Johns worked tremendously well on pairing up the mothers and the fathers with the musicians. So thank you for that. But yeah, that's kind of what I have to say about that.
Rob, if I can, thank you so much. If I can just add that if Jon and I met with Lisa and with Jenny and Reina to work that out, and we couldn't have done it without them. It was really important to have their input.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So thanks, musicians, because I think you give our audience a little bit of an idea of what it's like to be in that position of working with a non-musician and helping to facilitate an original lullaby that's coming out of them. And some, like Analiese mentioned, crying, Rob mentioned laughing. And since this is the third year we've done it, my experience every time, and I think you guys might be able to share the same thing, is that it's always unique, that each parent is a completely different situation. And so as facilitators, we have to be open to understand who it is we're working with and what they'd like us to help them with. And you know, it can be really fun. It can be very emotional. It can go all over the place. And I remember actually in 2016, there was one lullaby that just cracked everybody up in the room. I don't know if you folks remember that, but
the rock.
Baby, baby, love.
Baby,
Just,
love.
we just, all this, just,
yeah.
Like, it was so fun. It was so fun and so funny. And other, like, very heartfelt, as you said, Rob, songs that are so beautiful. You know, what I thought is I have short clips from the 2017 Lullaby Project to give our audience just an idea of the range of lullabies. And this is in the same place where our concert will be on the evening of April 9th. We start at 6 p.m. and it's going to be at UH West Oʻahu. And this is where our 2017 event was. So I'm going to share screen a little bit. And the first song I think that I'll share is a song that Honybal and Rob facilitated called Unspoken Love. So let me share my screen. And this is 2017. Starr and Honybal facilitated this lullaby. I seem to know your sound. So that's maybe more like a lullaby, what we would think of a lullaby. But to give some perspective of the range that we also have, this is a lullaby that Palafunga facilitated on. And this is Leeward Community College's Hawaiian Ensemble. And Liam Moleta is the singer here. And this lullaby is called How Wonderful It All Can Be. And it was written by a mom and a dad. So I'll share screen again and listen to a little bit of this lullaby. So that gives you an idea of the range of lullabies. And something that Reina said earlier was that sometimes, you know, lullabies can soothe the parent and can also be fun. And so some parents want a fun lullaby that's playful. And in the case of How Wonderful It All Can Be, it was these parents, you know, wishes for their young, you know, infant son and about life. And so lullabies in this sense are really varied. So, and just briefly, since I am sharing screen, I'm also going to share if you're interested in past lullabies, what you can do is you go to the Carnegie Hall Lullaby Project SoundCloud site. And if I were to Google Leeward Community College, our lullabies come up, and you can see that in 2016 and 2017, we had 22 tracks total. And something that we do following the concert is that we go in and we record each lullaby. So there's You're Mine by Analiese, How Wonderful It All Can Be. That's, anyway, these are Leeward Community College's lullabies, and there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lullabies on this site by now. And I think this has probably changed, yeah, John, and we're creating our own Hawaii Lullaby SoundCloud site this year.
That's right. That's what we'll do. And I just want to also mention that the awesome part about this project is that it was a multi-campus collaboration. The Mele program at Honolulu Community College did a lot of the recording. And it actually inspired this festival. So thanks to the Lullaby Project, we thought we should do more collaboration.
And at that time, that was also a UH West Oʻahu Leeward Community College and Mele program. The three campuses were involved in the 2017. So, and we continue to grow right now. So,
Can I ask a question? I've been just thinking about how Analiese, is interested in how, the moms sometimes arrive and they're sort of froze up and they're not really, maybe even not wanting to be there. And it just struck me that this year was so, like you said, Jon, the pandemic really dealt us a different card. And I was wondering what Lisa and Reina experienced on their end, in the project this year.
So this was our first time, and we were actually hoping to get more fathers involved, because of course the clientele that we work with more males than females. And we just feel to really kind of break that generational cycle is for fathers to bond with their child. We know that mothers, most of the time, they take on that, kind of parenting role, but fathers are so crucial in a child's life, of course. And so that's what we wanted to foster a little bit more. But I think just that one clip of kind of like that island style, if we were to show that to our students, our youth, that this is the kind of lullaby you could create for your child, I truly think that this project can reach a lot of young parents, or just any parent. I mean, I'm a mother of 2 toddlers, and just that thought that you could share something special with them is truly amazing. And so I'm just thankful. And I know that the participants this year, it was a hybrid, right? We had some in person because some just don't do Zoom well. And then the others who were a little bit better, tech savvy and so forth, they had that Zoom capacity. But I think that maybe with a little bit more of hearing other lullabies and doing that letter writing to their child or and so forth, so we can get so many more youth involved, and I'm just excited for this project to expand. So I'll be looking forward to it. So thank you guys really truly for including us.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Jon, for the question. It's a really good one. And I think when Analiese was sharing her experience with the mom who wasn't interested, I kind of giggled. And the reason for that was because in previous years, I think it was mandatory that the women who were in the house had to participate. And as a person, I'm an awful singer. I'm like not good at writing songs or anything. So when I put myself in my client's shoes, I was like, I think I would be that client who was like, no way, I'm not doing this. It seems way too scary. But this year, because it was on Zoom, I think they felt a little bit better about it. Like they were like, okay, there's kind of a screen separating us. And we were able to share with them that moms in previous years loved the project and that they got something so special and such a blessing to share with their children. So we kind of like milked them up a little bit. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for your patience. Our clients aren't always, I mean, they're busy. A lot of them are single moms. They're busy. They're working. Sometimes they're unsure. They're not really, there's not too much buy-in for them. But you guys were just so patient and kind and compassionate. And all of the ladies who participated this year could not speak more highly of everyone who was involved. And then even with all the technical difficulties or needing translators and all these things, you guys were just incredible. So it was really an amazing experience, but I'm excited to hopefully do it in person next year. If we do this again, we'd be honored to join and just see it happen in person. And watching the videos, Jon, that you just shared screen, I had like chicken skin. It was just, it's amazing to see it come to fruition.
Oh, truth is, we're completely frightened as well. I mean, yep. Thank you for putting it into perspective. If I was like, unexpecting mommy and didn't do any musician stuff, but I'm sure it would be, but us musicians are freaked out as well. The responsibility, well, first of all, to compose a song is like, oh, are you kidding me? But it's something about, there's something to say about being in the comfort of loved ones with open hearts and trusting the process. And then pretty much that, honestly, I'm totally freaked out. I'm totally freaked out. Still, we have the concert to put on. And the thing is that these mamas come with their open hearts, and it doesn't take that much for them to share their intention, and you know what they want to express in their song, and what they want for their child to understand, heart to heart. And it kind of just, I don't know, it just kind of dissolves fear. I don't know how else to say it. So it's a real beautiful like energetic collaborative thing, and then set to vibration and music. So but really it's a there's fear and release and growing and learning all the way around. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Lisa, you might have to exit the panel for something. Is that right?
Yes.
So
Jon,
I just want to thank you very much, and for allowing us to work with Adult Friends for Youth. It was such an honor and a privilege to get to see what you do and what your organization does, and to work with some of the young parents from Adult Friends for Youth. We're so grateful to you and for your organization.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I will be tending to my kids now.
She's leaving for the best reason, to take care of her kid.
But you know, I look forward to an invite next year, and I hope everyone watching enjoys this entire festival. Mahalo, everyone.
Mahalo, Lisa.
That was the best part about the in-person interaction, right? Was the babies present. That was the best. That was the best part.
You know, always fascinates me too about that, Starr, is that you know, because sometimes there are 1 month, 2 month, 3 month old newborns, and they can be a little fussy. And then as soon as the music starts happening, what we all seem to notice is that instantly they're like, whoa, what's happening? And so it catches their attention. And I did want to comment on something else you said too, is that it's scary to sing, even for musicians who do it. But I can, you know, sometimes we forget, for a non-singer, a non-musician, we're asking them to step into something that is quite intimidating. And so the courage that the women from Mary Jane Home have, or the young men and women from Adult Friends for Youth have, just to step into this program, we're truly grateful for that courage. Because like Starr said, it's intimidating for us. So we can only imagine what it's like for them, and truly a pleasure to work with them. So I'm not quite sure if anyone has anything else to share.
I think, you know, this whole idea of wellness and how music is a part of us and is used by so many people to, they have their go-to for, you know, a certain emotion. They know what song they need to listen to, or you know, a song to calm them down, or a song to get their heart rate at 120, or, you know, it's just that music is all around us. And yet, maybe that's the reason why we don't always consider it to be something that is wellness for us, you know?
Great point, Jon. Yeah. There's this, yeah, I agree. There's this tendency to think that it's entertainment, and that there are certain, like, singers, without recognizing that we're all singers. You know, we all have vocal cords, and again, that it is the language. It is a very powerful language, and we all have the capacity to do it. And yet sometimes we're afraid to do it for some reason. But I imagine that lullabies must be one of the earliest song forms there are in the human species, that is something that would encourage someone to sing, is to calm a newborn or to connect with a newborn. So absolutely, yeah.
And you don't always have to be a parent to do it.
Yeah.
That's true. Rob, you have a story. Can you tell us a story about your 16 lullaby?
I think it was 16.
17? 16 or 17?
Yeah. So I'm not a parent. Kids are cool, but yeah, the song that I wrote for 2016 that I told Jon Signor, I was like, hey, I wrote this song because we're doing Lullaby Project. I thought it'd be pretty cool. And I sang it, and it's called Always Here. And I didn't intentionally write a lullaby, but it kind of just came out that way. And there was a baby that would constantly cry outside of my window. And yeah, usually I would put headphones and block it out, but instead I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna use this. And since we just so happened to be writing or doing Lullaby Project, it just kind of like made sense. And so I started writing. I was like, oh, I guess this could be a lullaby. And I just started playing, and the crying kind of subsided, and just, I'm sure I annoyed my neighbors, but the baby seemed to enjoy it because it stopped crying after a while. And yeah, it made me come up with a song. So that was always fun. And it was healing for me too, because, like, you know, I was kind of writing it intentionally as if maybe I would be a parent someday, you know? So yeah.
Well, with that, you know, I just wanted to announce again that the Lullaby Project Sharing this year is April 9th at 6 p.m. University of Hawaiʻi West Oʻahu in the conference room. I should know this, but Jon, is this also streamed, or is this just live? I'm
no,
so sorry.
It's just live. It's
just live. So yeah, if anyone wants to, of course, all of the events at Kani Kūola are free and open to the public. There's an Eventbrite link to go to reserve space. And we are practicing COVID protocols. But this is a live event, and there's a number of other musicians who are not part of this panel that are also sharing their lullabies. So I think there are about 8 or 9 or 10 brand new, hot off the press lullabies that will be sharing with the moms and the dads and the babies and families and loved ones. So if the public is interested in coming out and seeing what this, seeing and hearing what this project is about, there will be babies in attendance. We invite you all to check it out. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's anything anyone else would like to add before we end our session today.
I think, you know, one thing that I just wanted to applaud was just the how everybody worked together. And there was a moment there where, you know, Rob and Starr talking about their collaboration with Karki. And I don't think it was ever mentioned that Karki's first language is not English. And so we actually needed to find a translator who speaks Chuukese. And so we reached out to Lisa Tamashiro, who was able to find Erfina that came over from Adult Friends for Youth.
That's right.
And worked with Robin Starr on the lullaby. And she was, and I was just, you know, I think that just reflects the I guess the team support, that ability that we have as humans to create something good when we see other people doing something helpful. And
yeah. It was really sweet to hear the interaction between them too. Yeah, it was really sweet, you know, just to mommies sharing their intention with each other, even if we didn't understand what they were saying, you know, just to hear the energy of that was really sweet.
Yeah, she was super helpful. And yeah, because there were, I mean, Karki spoke pretty well English, but there was a little bit of a language barrier. And I would like to say Erfina was the one that titled Karki's song, because I think without her specifically saying, oh, Naang Minam Remi is I will remember you all. Without that, I don't think there would have been a real good meaning behind that song. So yeah, super helpful.
You know, and as you were talking about it just earlier, and not mentioning that, I was thinking to myself, wow, this is amazing that they're talking about this collaboration and Karki's energy and her, you know, just full of melodies and everything. And the language, you know, that was like not the, you know, it was the last thing you were thinking about.
Nah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. The poetry was there. Even melodies that we were familiar with were already there. She was singing the Barney song. There was so much information. Yeah. Without language.
Yeah. Reina, how was that? You were there.
I was there for the beginning. Yeah, well, when we were presented with this opportunity, Karki was the one that we were like, she loves to sing. She's always singing in the home. She's always dancing with baby. So we were like, oh my gosh, if we could make this happen, that would be incredible. And you guys were just such a powerhouse in making sure that that happened and having the translator there. But yeah, Karki does speak English really well, but we wanted to make sure that like she really understood the song herself. So we were so grateful to have the translator there. And I wasn't able to stay for the end of your guys' session together, but she's constantly singing. I'm wondering if she's singing the lullaby that you guys created that day. But yeah, it's really sweet to see her. I mean, music is just clearly something that she really is passionate about and enjoys, and baby just lights up whenever she sings to her. It's really, really sweet. So yeah. I'm not sure if she'll be able to make it to the in-person, but we'll definitely like let her know about it. And I'll check out the SoundCloud. I didn't know that existed. Will that song be on there? Like all of this year's songs, will it be on the SoundCloud?
So it'll be on a new SoundCloud that we'll be making.
Okay. Yeah. I'll definitely have to share with everyone who participated, and then I'll definitely show Karki so that she can hear the song recorded.
In addition, this is a multilingual sharing, because another mom that I worked with from Mary Jane Home speaks Russian as her first language. So there's a Russian line in there as well. So yeah, and that was a Mary Jane Home mom too, and that was actually a couple. The dad also participated, so that was great. Yeah. So. I think with that, our time for this session is up. And I want to just say mahalo to all of you participants on this panel for taking this time to share with our audience what your experience is. Reina, thank you so much for, on behalf of those of us who are reaching out to partnering organizations, for once again for Mary Jane Home to be one of our partners and our collaborator on this project. We're so grateful to all of you, especially to the moms, to the dads, to Lisa's group Adult Friends for Youth, the moms and dads there. And we just hope everyone, if you're interested in hearing some new lullabies, we invite you to the sharing. And also just a reminder that language is, again, the story that Starr and Rob were sharing with Karki, that music is the language that we all speak. So from the youngest to the eldest among us, and very powerful connector. And that's basically what we're collaborating on this project for. So mahalo to the panelists, mahalo to those of you who are watching this panel. We hope you can join us for this concert. Okay. Please, everyone, stay safe, take care, and we hope you're enjoying Kani Kūola Music Festival. Aloha.